Hello everyone, today's video is about reasons your child should go home from school, be sent home, or when it's going to be okay for your child to return to school. So my oldest daughter is currently student teaching, and I asked her if she had any videos she would like for me to make that might be helpful for her or other teachers. And she said, oh, let's just get it out there that sick kids don't need to come to school. When I'm recording this, we're sort of in the middle of the flu season for this winter, and so I want to get all these recommendations out there to help all of us stay healthier and prevent the spread of disease. So the school should send your child home if your child has a fever above 100 degrees. That's just an easy cutoff mark for schools and for us to go by. And now 100 is certainly not a high fever, we know that, but it may be that something's brewing or that the fever's about to spike up even higher than that. So fever greater than 100 is a very reasonable reason to send the child home from school. Severe complaints of pain. If they're just hurting so much they can't concentrate, maybe they have an extremely sore throat or a bad ear infection, then that would be reasonable to go home. Vomiting. Vomiting almost always means they need to go home because most of the time it is a simple stomach bug, a viral gastroenteritis, and they need to be sent home from that because it is contagious, and plus they just feel so crummy. Now there are occasions, very rare, and we would want for you to talk with us, your pediatrician, about this, in which a child may have some sort of anxiety issue so severe that they have some vomiting, and that case may not actually merit being sent home, and that could be a very complex situation. But in a typical stomach bug viral gastroenteritis, we do want that child to be sent home. Same goes for diarrhea. In fact, most of these viruses are spread by fecal oral spread, and so if the child's having diarrhea, it's at great risk for spreading that virus to the other children, so they need to go home. If the child has a rash that involves an oozing or a weepy part, it needs to be covered. They should be sent home until that's treated. If the child has active head lice, they need to be sent home until that's treated, obviously. If you know they have strep, they need to be sent home. Now, most of the time you wouldn't know. They would just have a sore throat and you would need to come in to see us so we could diagnose the strep. But every now and then we'll have a strep to come back positive in the overnight culture and call you to let you know that the strep came back positive. In that case, please go get your child and then bring them home. Now, let's talk about reasons they could go back to school. If it were the scenario with the strep, once they've been on antibiotics, now we say from 12 to 24 hours, they're allowed to return to school. If it were from flu, for example, our standard rule is they need to be fever-free for 24 hours, even without any fever medications. No Tylenol, no Motrin. Their fever's just completely gone for a solid 24 hours. Now remember though, once they're fighting this thing off, their immune system's going to be a little tired or busy or preoccupied with fighting off the flu. So if they are still absolutely miserable and exhausted, they're really not up for returning to school. So err on the side of caution for keeping them home till they're recovered enough for their immune system to be able to fight off the additional germs they'll be exposed to once they return to school. So at least 24 hours without fever. My rule of thumb is they should be able to wake up in the morning to go to school and feel well enough to eat breakfast and have the energy to attend school. Other reasons I wouldn't send them back is if they're still coughing so much from the flu that they can't concentrate and they're distracting the other students, it's probably not time to go back. If you kept them home for vomiting or diarrhea, they may return once they've had no vomiting for 24 hours and they have a formed stool. Then it's okay for them to go back. If you've had them home because they had head lice, they may return once they've been successfully treated. We talked about the strep returning in 12 to 24 hours. So most of this is standardized. If you have any questions, most pediatric offices have phone advice nurses and you can call. And especially now in the middle of flu and cold season, I would err on the side of keeping them home, particularly if there's fever or severe cough, or they were up all night the night before coughing, so couldn't get a good night's rest to be able to concentrate and focus on their schoolwork. Please remind your children to wash their hands carefully after blowing their nose or using the restroom. Remind them to cough into their elbow to help prevent the spread of the respiratory droplets from their coughs or sneezes, and keep some hand sanitizer handy, some Kleenex handy, and just to support and encourage your teachers who are surrounded by lots of sick children this time of year. I hope this was helpful. Thanks.